And Coach, tonight's game is a big game for several reasons. Maybe you could share those with the fans.
Geez, John, I don't know if I can remember them all. They, first of all, you know, Ashland's 2-0 as far as the conference goes. And, you know, this is a big game from that standpoint. We're 2-0. And really, whoever gets the, if we win tonight, we're guaranteed at least a share of it. And they've got Dover to play, and they're guaranteed a share if they beat us tonight. So that alone makes it a big ball game. Plus the fact that we're 7-0, and we'd certainly like to keep that intact. And then we've got the computer ratings to think about. So, you know, this is just a big ball game, and they're a pretty good football team.
Coach, it would seem that although it may be difficult, you're going to have to play the last three one at a time. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, we are, John. You know, we're you know, you try to get the point across to the kids that, you know, we said that we got a 3-game season left, and that's what it boils down to. We played fairly well, consistent football all the way through to this point. I think we've improved every week, which, you know, that's what we aim for, and hopefully tonight we're just a little bit better because Ashland's going to come in here really fired up.
Coach, I know at this point in the season a lot of the kids are suffering some bumps and bruises, but any serious injuries that'll keep players out of the game tonight?
Mike Pegram is the only one we're concerned with, and he's going to start, and we'll see how it goes. He has a thigh injury, but other than that, we're 100%.
Well, Coach, as you indicated, Ashland coming into tonight's game 4-3 on the season. They've got 4 big W's under their belt. Who are some of the horses that we can look for?
Well, their tailback, Massey, they got 2 good backs. Massey and Gordon are fullback. Quarterback's adequate, throws the ball pretty decent. They've got, you know, decent receivers. The Massey kid's an all-around player. He does their punting for them, does their punt returns. Offensively, they're pretty much a wide-open football team. They've been a big play team, somewhat like Malbar was last week. So we've got to play exceptionally good defense tonight, and then, you know, we've got to control the ball again offensively.
Coach, sometimes during the week's practice, you can tell whether a team is up or down. What kind of practices did you have this week?
Well, we've had good practices, John. You know, the kids understand where they are and what the opportunity, what to accomplish. And, you know, we're shooting for our 5th straight Cardinal Conference, and no one's ever done that. And, you know, they know what's at stake. So hopefully they've responded to pressure so far. So I don't think pressure is going to be a factor on our kids.
Well, Coach, we certainly wish you and the Generals the very best of luck tonight as you go out and face the Ashland Arrows and pick up win number 8.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Coach. We're going to be back in just a second, and when we do, we'll be sharing with you Parents' Night. It is Parents' Night here at Maurer Field. It's a chance to recognize the parents of these young players and also the cheerleaders as well. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with Parents' Night.
Announcing what everyone has been waiting for. The Disney Channel.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Coming your way soon. It's everything you've ever imagined and more. Call your cable operator for local availability.
The varsity cheerleaders, Julie Cicconetti, Frank and Ann Cicconetti, Karen Schultz, Bill and Royanna Schultz, to Vu, Larry and Jeanette Vu, Co-Captain Dina Campbell, Jim and Darla Campbell, Donna Ratcliffe, Bob and Diane Meals, Lisa Schiffler, Cliff and Millie Elliott, Co-Captain Amy Reardon, her sister, a reserve cheerleader, Robin Reardon, Michael and Stephanie Reardon, Heather Hamilton, Kent and Sharon Hamilton, Diane Kariskas, Donald and Beverly Kariskas, Heather Kuntz, Andy and Claudia Kuntz, Shawnee Lee, Pat and Penny Lee. Michelle Sloan, Ken and Mary Sloan. The manager, number 31, Andrew Raby, Mrs. Clark Raby, and Ron Rhodes. Number 93, Amy Bratney, Mr. and Mrs. Charles Bratney. At number 94, Melissa Schneider, Mr. and Mrs. Paul Schneider. The varsity football team, number 10, Brad Allen, Mr. and Mrs. Tom Allen. Co-captain John Murphy, number 11, Mr. and Mrs. John Murphy. Number 13, Bill Berg, Pat Berg. Number 15, Matt McCoy, Stuart and Elizabeth McCoy. Number 18, Matt Smith, Bob and Carol Smith, and Bill and Diane Bostancic. Number 20, Brad Snyder, Tony and Sue Snyder. Number 21, Brad Warner, Mr. and Mrs. Darrell Warner. Number 22, Alan Alexander, Ken and Garnett Alexander. Number 24, Tim Purdom, Dallas and Jean Purdom. Number 25, Matt Totten, Ron and Miriam Totten. Number 26, John Dawson, Dick and Julie Dawson. Number 27, Tony Lee, his aunt Billy C. Lee and Mary Broadnack. Number 30, Mark Newcomer, Bob and Maria Newcomer. Number 32, Dan Edwards, Richard and Peggy Edwards. Number 33, Wes Jones, Jim and Karen Jones. Number 40, Chris Murray, Judy Murray. Number 41, Doug Snyder, Mr. and Mrs. Jim Snyder. Number 42, Jim Vitero, Mr. and Mrs. James Vitero. Number 43, Brett Birdnow, Richard and Joyce Birdnow. Number 44, John Hayes, Mr. and Mrs. Frank Hayes. Number 45, Denny Shear, Danny and Karen Shear. Number 50, Les Mann, Mr. and Mrs. Roy Mann. Number 52, Jim Wire, Sherry Wire. Number 53, Andy Seifert, Mr. and Mrs. Brian Questel. Number 55, Eric Houston, Dan and Linda Houston. Number 57, Steve Cooper, Dean and Tessie Cooper. Number 59, Brian Finicum, Exie and Gary Thomas, and Don Finicum. Number 60, Co-Captain Doug Glasgow, Tom and Sue Shamp. Number 61, Brady Hartman, Ed Hartman. Number 62, Corey Hupp, Paul and Virginia Hupp. Number 63, Richard Withrow, Dick and Adrienne Withrow. Number 64, Kurt Hanshaw, Gail Hanshaw. Number 66, Steve Snyder, Mr. and Mrs. Frank Snyder. Number 68, Chris Westover, Mr. and Mrs. Dave Westover. Number 74, Drew Gerber, Norm and Kathy Gerber. Number 75, Steve Van Fossen, Reverend and Mrs. Robert Van Fossen. Number 76, Mike Huddleston, Mr. and Mrs. Larry Huddleston. Number 78, Co-Captain Mike McLean, Michael McLean and Linda Kinney. Number 79, Mike Pegram, Linda Pegram. Number 80, Jeff Rokamp, David and Kay Rokamp. Number 81, Chip Yankello, Mr. and Mrs. Charles Yankello. Number 82, Mark Wolf, Don Wolf and Alicia Cephalou. Number 83, Michael Franklin, represented by Coach Mike Gallagher. Number 84, Steve Herzog, Kurt Herzog and Chris Carroll. Number 85, John Hartman, John and Mary Hartman. Number 86, Chuck Spielman, Bob and Wilma Spielman. Number 88, Mike Hughes, Peggy Hughes. Number 90, Mitch Sleek, Mr. and Mrs. Jack Sleek. And number 96, Bo Steiner, Mike Steiner, and Karen Steiner. We want to thank the parents again for their support this year. Good evening. Welcome to Parents' Night at Maurer Field and Cardinal Conference Football. Tonight, the undefeated Wooster Generals battle the Ashland High School Arrows, who are 4-3 this season. We extend a warm welcome to all Arrow fans who are with us this evening. We direct your attention to the south end of Maurer Field. Ladies and gentlemen, under the direction of Mark Scatterday and Jerome Rodenfeld. With assistance from Dennis Bartelheim and Ann Grasser. Led on the field by Head Majorette Kim Shuck, the 1986 Wooster High School Marching Band. Please stand and join in singing the Wooster High School alma mater. The words are printed on the back cover of this evening's program. medals are being presented tonight by Wooster's American Legion post number 68. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
It's a beautiful night for football here at Mauer Field. The Ashland Arrows are coming onto the field, and momentarily the Generals will be on the field and will be picking up the introduction of the starting team. Tony, the coin was tossed. Ashland has won. They are elected to receive. But the way the Generals have played defense this year, I don't think that worries Coach McFarland at all.
I don't think so either, John, but you have to remember the Ashland Arrows, they've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. They're going to go for this game. They're much better than a 4-3 ball team, and I think once they get on the field, we're going to see this. The Ashland Arrows and the Generals, they're both at 2-2 in the Cardinal Conference. The Generals, as we know, have more or less ruled the conference for the last 4 years. The Arrows, this is going to be the last year, actually, of the conference, and the Arrows want to break that. They haven't beaten the Generals since 1976, and I remember we did that game here. I believe the score was...
Here are the starting lineups for tonight's game.
The Arrows scored in the last quarter to win that ball game. And I think they're really going to be up, although I honestly believe the depth of the Wooster Generals is going to prevail in the long run. Coach McFarland made it very clear last week. The Generals just wore down the Malabar Falcons last week, and they came out in that fourth quarter and they just ran shot. And I think that's what's going to happen tonight. The Ashland Arrows, I think, have got a good first team, but I think once it gets down to the point where you have to start putting subs in, I don't believe they're going to be able to keep up with the Generals.
Well, there are three players we might mention. The quarterback for the Arrows is 17, John Shoemaker. The fullback is number 44, Mike Gordon. And the tailback is number 31. That's Joe Massey. Those are the three key players for the Arrows tonight.
On defense, you'll have to watch linebacker. Number 11, Todd Van Scoy.
Okay, we are going to turn the announcement of the Generals over to field announcer, By Morris.
7, the defensive unit. At tackle, number 78, senior co-captain Mike McLean. At tackle, number 53, senior Andy Seifert. At linebacker, number 60, senior co-captain Doug Glasgow. At linebacker, number 25, senior Matt Totten. At end, number 57, senior Steve Cooper. At end, number 59, senior Brian Finicum. At linebacker, number 18, senior Matt Smith. At linebacker, number 21, senior Brad Warner. Defensive halfback, number 44, senior John Hayes. At the other halfback spot, number 11, senior co-captain John Murphy. And at safety, number 90, senior Mitch Sleek. Coach Gary Green and the rest of the Wooster Generals. Here are the officials for tonight's game. The referee is Glenn Carruthers. The umpire is Joe Chumko.
We are just seconds away from kickoff, and Tony, one thing we are going to have to contend with tonight, the high school has put in a new PA system, which is right over our heads. And I'll tell you what, I'm glad I've got on some earphones to muffle it. I'm sure the fans out there are going to appreciate the extra volume, but boy, it's going to make it tough on you and I tonight.
I think the only fans who are going to appreciate tonight are going to be the ones on the far side from Ashland. It's a beautiful night for a ball game.
Oh, yeah, the weather has really turned fall this week. The leaves are finally beginning to change, and there is that crispness that I associate with football in the air tonight.
Certainly has. The rain that we've had has really turned the field back into its natural green color, and it's really beautiful.
Well, Wooster will be kicking off. They will be
The
kicking
Arrows
off.
won the flip of the coin.
They have on their blue jerseys, gold pants, white helmets with the blue stripe. On the south end of the field, the Ashland Arrows will be receiving. They have on orange helmets, white jerseys trimmed in orange and black with black numerals, black pants trimmed in orange and white. We are looking forward to a dandy Cardinal Conference game tonight. Ashland, as we've indicated to you, 2-0 in the conference. Wooster 2-0. It's always nice, Tony, I think, to go head-to-head with the team you have to beat to at least get a share of the conference championship, and that's a situation the Generals are in tonight.
And this also makes for a very good ball game.
Number 45 is Denny Shear. He will be kicking off back deep. Is number 31, that's Joe Massey for the Arrows. The Arrows, as Tony mentioned to you earlier, have been a big play team tonight, and the Generals will have to guard against this. But that nasty defense of the Generals has been very stingy. We're waiting for the whistle. Denny Shear gets all of that one. It's taken on about the 6-yard line. It's Massey. He's up to the 15, the 20, 25, and is pushed forward to about the 28-yard line. Looked like number 25, Matt Totten, on the bottom of that pile for the Generals defensively.
Brady Hartman, Mark Newcomer on the tackle for the Generals. 1st and 10 Arrows.
That ball, the nose of the ball, just shy of the 29-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Arrows. Steve Cooper, Brian Finicum at the ends, Mike McLean, Andy Seifert at the tackles. We'll give you the linebackers in the backs as time permits. Shoemaker, the junior quarterback, gives it to, it's Massey right up the middle. A quick trap, first down just shy of the 50.
Brought down by Mitch Sleek.
It took the safety, Mitch Sleek, number 90, to bring down Massey, and he showed good speed on that one, Tony.
It's a 20-yard gain, John.
So if Wooster thought they were going to waltz through this game, the first play was a cold slap in the face. This time it's Massey again. Whoa! Who did he meet there? Excuse me, it was Gordon, and it was number 60, Doug Glasgow, really lowering the boom.
They gave him 2 yards on that, John. He was pushed back a good 3 yards, but he did have forward progress up to the 49-yard line of the Generals.
Yes, he has crossed the midfield stripe, 2nd and 8, and now there is timeout being called for by the referees. One of the linesmen is talking with the referee, and the referee now coming over towards the Wooster sideline. Have no idea what in the world it may be about. They're coming over to Coach McFarland.
It's my butt.
And I don't know if it's a matter of communication or what. It looks like it might be communications. It might just be that the headsets over there on the far side of the field are out. And of course, if that happens, both coaches have to take off their headsets. But Herman Gibbs has been dispatched towards the other side of the field carrying a case which just might be additional headphones. We'll wait and see. At any rate, the game is going to progress. 2nd and 8 for the Arrows. They've got eye backs and a man in the slot in motion. And the quarterback is keeping it this time. Cooper's got him. Seifert's got him right at the 50. Tony, broken play or a planned play?
I believe that was a broken play that time, John. Nobody wanted the ball.
Shoemaker had to carry it himself. Defensively, number 41 is in. That is Doug Snyder. And Doug goes in as an extra defensive back. Matt Totten comes out because it is a 3rd and long 9 situation. And the Generals are anticipating pass. And they're going to get it. Shoemaker looking. It's intercepted.
Intercepted.
John Murphy.
Intercepted by John Murphy.
Right on the 40-yard line.
And John played him very well that time. John gave him just enough room, but didn't lay off of him. He wasn't going to give him too much. That was a fine play by young John Murphy.
We don't have statistics on the Generals, but I'm guessing that's at least number 5 for John on the season of interceptions. John goes to the top of your screen as a wide receiver. John Hayes to the bottom. I-backs behind quarterback Matt McCoy. The give is to Tony Lee. Tony stumbled at the line of the scrimmage and is held to no gain. Looked like he might have stumbled over one of his own lineman's feet. And Tony comes up limping slightly. And although he had a phenomenal game last week against Malabar, 240 yards, in the article in the paper, it did mention that he did have a bad ankle, Tony.
He certainly did.
Give
some reason Tony always seems to be ready to go on Friday night, though.
Give Lee a yard. Call it 2nd and 9. There he goes again off tackle, trying to pick his hole, but he is nailed. Number 11, Todd Van Scoy. That's the young man that Tony mentioned earlier we would have to look for on defense. Nice tackle there. But give Tony Lee 2 more yards. Call it a 3rd and 7.
3rd down 6.
Here comes John Hayes into the huddle for the Generals. He's alternating tonight with Mitch Sleek at that wide receiver position. 3rd and 7. Wooster getting its first possession as the result of a turnover. Intercepted pass by John Murphy. McCoy drops straight back. He's got time and is now hit from behind and dropped. But there's a flag at the line of scrimmage. Let's see.
Matt McCoy sacked in there by number 52, Scott Mowry.
From the point of infraction, John, I would have to think it's going to be against the Generals. I hope I'm wrong, but
I think it might be holding. Yes, it is. That is the preliminary call.
Against the Generals.
Tony, it'll be an interesting decision, but I think I would probably take it if I were the Arrows. Worcester thinks they are. They're moving back. They discuss it with number 52, Scott Mowry.
Well, John's going to bring up a 4th and about 14. I don't believe they will.
Holding call against the Generals refused by the Arrows, brings up 4th down.
So the Arrows decide to decline the penalty. It does bring up 4th and 10 for the Generals. The punter this year has been number 18. That's Matt Smith. So Wooster is held on its first possession after recovering that interception.
Dennis Bryant deep for the Arrows.
Low snap. Matt Smith goes down, gets it. Nice high boot, hanging up there plenty of time. It rolls out at about the 38. So the Ashland Arrows get the ball back. We'll take a quick break and be right back.
39-yard line.
Hi, I'm Tom Lyons, Performance Pontiac Olds GMC Trucks, 1363 Lincoln Way West, Worcester, right across from the Worcester Armory. Thank you for your support during this football campaign. I appreciate it very much. Stop and see me for your next new or used vehicle purchase. If customer satisfaction is important to you, please stop and ask for me, Tom Lyons, Performance Pontiac Olds GMC Trucks.
MTV is capitalist swill.
Born in East LA.
They take stupid rock and roll and make idiot little films. With each new video on MTV, America gets weaker.
Never.
So America, keep watching it.
MTV. Some people just don't get it.
We built this channel on rock and roll.
That ball is spotted on the 39-yard line of the Arrows. 1st and 10. This time they have the single back. And they've got Massey in motion. And they give it to the fullback. And he gets very little. That is Mike Gordon, 44.
Mike Gordon, the ball carrier. Hit down by Steve Cooper.
Let us remind you that you can see a broad view of area people, places, and things on Panorama with Mark Glasgow. That's Thursday evenings at 5:30 on CATV 9. Give Gordon 2 yards on that and call it 2nd and 8. The ball just across the 40-yard line. And again, the single back. Man in motion to the top of your screen. A lot of misdirection on that play. And it is Massey going across the 45, 46-yard line.
Steve Cooper on the tackle.
Got 3 or 4. Number 57, Steve Cooper, on the bottom of the pile for the Generals. 3rd and 3, Tony, I'd say.
Third down,
Long three, but it's there.
Ball
We got
46-yard line.
Rich Withrow going
yes.
in now in place of linebacker Brad Warden. I believe was at Taunton. It's Taunton.
Yes.
And right now they got a 5-man rush.
Worcester looking for the run all the way. Bumped into his old man in the backfield, and then the Journals buried him.
Brought down by Steve Cooper and Matt Smith.
And the center of that line was really plugged up great.
Steve Cooper led the charge, but there were several additional blue jerseys there on that tackle.
Well, that was a new wrinkle, John. I haven't seen 5-down linemen for Worcester very much.
I have not seen it prior to tonight's game, Tony.
Massey in punt formation.
Number 31 is Massey, and he will do the punting. He's standing on his own 31-yard line. It's Murphy and Hayes back for the Generals. That ball is blocked. It is blocked, and it is going to be picked up possibly. 59.
Yes.
That is
Finicum.
Brian Finicum.
And nobody blocked Brian. He just went straight in.
Brian, of course, is a defensive end and offensive center.
Brian Finicum blocked Joe Massey's punt.
The ball is resting inside the 15-yard line.
Of the Arrows.
And that is on the 15-yard line, John.
1st and 10. Matt McCoy, junior quarterback, up over the ball at center. It's Brett Birdnow and Tony Lee in the I backfield behind him. The give is to Tony Lee. Tony diving ahead for 2 or 3. Arrows signaling maybe there was a fumble, but I didn't see it.
And he got maybe possibly 2.
Gain of 2 yards, 2nd down 8. Ball's on the 13-yard line.
Here comes John Hayes racing in, number 44 with the play. We'll give you that offensive line lineup as time permits here. Generals breaking the huddle, 2nd and 8. This time the give to Tony Lee. Tony is close to the 10-yard line. Van Scoy, again, number 11, is in on that tackle.
Ashland defense is certainly closing that up in a hurry.
Well, Tony, when you have a ball carrier who last week carried the ball 42 times for 240 yards, I think you've got to key your defense on him. I'm surprised Coach Mack hasn't used Brett Birdno yet. Brett, I think, is 100% healthy now. Early in the season, his ankle was a little gimpy.
You know, as you know, we missed a game last week, but from all indications, seemed like he had a very good ball game.
I'm afraid that may be delay of game against the Generals. One of the penalties you don't like to see. Let's just wait until they call it.
That ball foul, illegal procedure against the Generals.
Illegal procedure. And they're coming over to explain it to Coach Mack. I can't believe that the Arrows would do anything but take it, since it was a dead ball foul.
Yeah. Well, instead of 3rd and about 5, we've now got 3rd and 11.
Ball back at the 15-yard line.
Clock all the way down to 4:21 here in the first quarter. Wooster's Matt McCoy dropping back to pass. It's a screen pass. It's set up well. Tony Lee has got it. He's got some blockers, and he's got a score.
Touchdown.
And Tony Lee scores on the screen pass. 15-yard touchdown pass from Matt McCoy. The Generals lead 6-0.
Tony Lee, bothered by that ankle injury, as Tony Skatanzarite indicated, came to play tonight. He took a couple hits, but he would not be denied. 16 yards for the score.
John, that was 3 plays plus a penalty. It took the Generals exactly 1 minute and 44 seconds. And a pass from McCoy to Lee put it on the board.
The extra point is good. Our score is Wooster 7 and the Ashland Arrows nothing. We'll break and be right back.
As you're watching the great sports action, wouldn't a pizza like this one taste great? Then call 264-0571 for the Pizza Bowl and let them bring a pizza, sandwich, or any great menu item right to your door. They offer free delivery and are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Remember the pizza that we just showed you? The Pizza Bowl is waiting to make yours. Call 264-0571 for Degler's Restaurant and the Pizza Bowl. They have the food you're craving for. No gimmicks, no giveaways, just honest savings every day of the year. That's what you'll find at Mott's Decorating, 4188 Cleveland Road, Worcester. Mott's Decorating is serious about quality, and you should be too. At Mott's Decorating, they want happy and satisfied customers. That's why quality is spelled with a capital Q. Mott's Decorating, one-stop decorating for all of your vinyl floor, carpet, paint, wall covering, and now new at Mott's Decorating, area rugs. Stop by Mott's Decorating, Cleveland Road, Worcester.
While we have a moment while the teams are getting ready for the kickoff, we have an announcement that will affect you if you're watching this game on Friday night. Tomorrow's Worcester soccer game against Walsh has been rescheduled from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So there's a 2-hour difference there. That is Saturday, October 18th we're talking about. The game has been postponed, if you will, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So if you show up at 11, you're going to have to wait a couple hours. Wooster getting ready to kick off. Denny Shear waiting for the whistle. Massey is back deep. This time it's a squib kick. It is fumbled, it is bobbled, it is finally picked up by one of the upmen, and he's got a hole. He's back to the 43, 44-yard line. Murphy and Sleek making the stop. Tony, planned or not? I couldn't tell.
No, I think he just got it off on the side of his foot.
Tackle made in there by Mitch Sleek.
Let's identify the secondary of that defensive unit for tonight for the Generals. We've got at the linebackers Doug Glasgow and Tony Lee. On the outside, Matt Smith and Brad Warner. Murphy, Sleek, and Hayes are the deep backs. I-backs this time. They give it to the tailback, Massey, to the outside. Put his head down, but he didn't get much. Murphy and Smith up very quickly to close that off. A gain of about a yard, maybe yard and a half.
Matt Smith on that tackle for the Generals.
Let us mention that each week you can hear the thoughts of area coaches and athletes on Coach's Corner with myself, John Hevlin. That's Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. right here on Cable TV 9. Second and a long 8, call it 9 for the Arrows. Massey and Gordon, they give it to Massey on the outside pitch, and he does not get much there. Brad Warner had good penetration, didn't he, Tony?
Massey was lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage, and he was just held there, and he wasn't about to go anyplace. And right now, the general defense line and linebackers are really showing their determination in there, John. They're just not letting anything get through there. You know, and you keep getting hit with, say, like Massey there, keeps getting hit at that pace. He's going to start feeling along about the third quarter.
Well, I think you're right. We're looking for a pass here. They do throw a quick look-in pass. Murphy almost had another interception. Was intended for Brian Moore, number 83. But Murphy was right there. And it'll bring up another punting situation for the Arrows. The ball resting on the 46-yard line. John Hayes, John Murphy are now dropping back deep. Mitch Sleek is the up man. Remember, Brian Finicum blocked this first punt. Here comes Brian again. No, they blocked him out. John Hayes takes it on the 20. They set up a wall. If John can get there, no, he's not going to make it. Goes down at about the 17-yard line. Number 3, Tom Rooney.
17-yard line.
Tom Rooney also in on that tackle for the Arrows. First and 10 Generals on their own 18-yard line.
With the holiday season approaching, now's a great time to plan your holiday get-together or next business meeting at the banquet room of BC's Family Steakhouse on Cleveland Road between Madisonburg and Wooster. First and 10 for the Generals, Birdno and Lee behind McCoy. It is Lee up the middle.
Howdy Lee on the carry.
And he is swarmed under. On the bottom of that pile, number 52, that's Scott Mowry.
Tackle by Scott Mowry.
Give Tony a yard, call it 2nd and 9 for the Generals. Here comes John Hayes in with the play. It didn't take Wooster very long to capitalize on the second turnover. A block punt by Brian Finicum. 2nd and 9. McCoy, it's Lee again. No, it's McCoy on a keeper up the middle. He's up close to the 25.
Close to the 25-yard line.
That's one way to keep that defense a little bit honest, Tony.
It certainly is.
It is 3rd and a short 3 yards for the Generals.
Tackle made it there by Gene Reynolds and Todd Van Score.
Here comes Mitch Sleek, number 90 in. It is Birdno this time. He is tripped up very close to the first down. Brett is a tall drink of water. He's over 6'1". Let me just check the program. 6'2". And he got the first down by the length of his body. Nice going, Brett. So the Generals keep the drive alive. Let's call the spot of that ball the 29. 1st and 10 for the Wooster Generals. Clock is down to 38 seconds here in the first quarter. It's gone quickly. And there's Birdno again, this time getting out to close to the 35.
34-yard line.
5 yards.
Tackle made by Gene Reynolds for the Arrows.
2nd and a long 5 as they spot that ball. It looked like they cut him short, maybe a yard on the spot.
Ball on the 33-yard line.
The clock down to 6 seconds. I don't think the Generals are even going to attempt to play here before the end of the first quarter. So at the end of one, with our score, the Wooster Generals 7, the Ashland Arrows nothing. We'll break and be right back.
Enjoy great movies like Back to the Future and Return of the Jedi in the comfort of your own home. Just stop by Dino's Home Movies in Wooster and Smithville. With over 1,800 movies to choose from, Dino's has the movie you're looking for no matter what kind. And if you don't have a VCR, rent one from Dino's Home Movies at the foot of Bell Avenue in downtown Wooster and on Main Street in Smithville. It's Dino's Home Movies, open 7 days a week.
Edinger's Furniture has bedroom sets. Fine craftsmanship by fine names like Burlington and Impact. At Edinger's, you'll find dining room furniture, a large selection priced to fit your pocketbook. Take a look at this three-piece living room set. Edinger's Furniture specializes in top-quality, well-built furniture that looks good in any home. They also carry mobile home supplies like replacement doors and plastic pipe. Edinger's Furniture in the Heck Shopping Center on Lincoln Way East in Worcester. Stop by today.
BC's Family Steakhouse on Cleveland Road between Worcester and Madisonburg is proud to announce their new soup and salad bar. Of course, this only adds to their large menu of anything from sandwiches to fine meals like lobster or prime rib. So enjoy the relaxing atmosphere and friendly service always found at BC's Family Steakhouse. And by the way, you can receive a complimentary birthday cake on your birthday, where lunches and dinners are many on Cleveland Road, BC's Family Steakhouse. It is 2nd and 7 for the Generals. The pitch is to Tony Lee, going off right tackle, and Tony got a yard or two. Tony, something that I'm picking up in that offensive line, it looks like Mike Pegram, who had a thigh bruise, is not able to go, and Andy Seifert, number 53, is in at one of the tackles. The other tackle, of course, is Mike Huddleston. So Andy is playing left tackle tonight. We sure hope that Mike will be able to shake off the effects of that injury and be ready for next week's game against the Madison Rams. It is a 3rd and 3 for the Generals. And they give it to Birdnow. This time he is short.
Brett Birdnow, the ball carrier.
And as you can see, the Arrows certainly came ready to play tonight.
Tackle in there by Paul Souter.
It's 4th and still 2 yards. And it looks like Matt Smith will come in to punt the ball away for the Generals.
Matt Smith will punt the football. Tim Swade's good. Joe Massey deep.
Joe Massey, number 31, is deep for the Arrows. Matt got that one off the side of his foot, and he didn't even get it up to midfield. A terrible punt that time, and no one would feel worse than Matt, but it will test the Worcester defense.
Certainly will. There's given fine field position. They're on Worcester's 41-yard line. Oh, we have a break here. I might give you the officials for the night's ball game. Referee Glenn Carruthers, umpire Joe Chunko, head linesman's Lee Dietrich, line judge is John Tolk, and the back judge is John Binder.
First down, right up the middle. It was the fullback. That is Gordon, Mike Gordon. And there are a swarm of blue jerseys on the bottom of the pile. It looks like number 60, Doug Glasgow. Worcester has changed up their defense a little bit tonight, Tony. Did you notice
that? They certainly have, John. We've noticed since we mentioned about the five-man front. The last series, Coach McFarland went for the five-man front. He's also got that five-man front there now. Now he's back to 4. He's back to 4 this time.
There's a quick look-in pass. Oh, Murphy about took the head off of that receiver. It was intended for number 83, Brian Moore.
3 fine defensive plays Murphy has made on pass defense.
I don't think Moore is going to be watching the ball as much as he is looking for John Murphy.
Well, you know, it's the old saying, you start hearing footsteps, and once you get clobbered out there, well, you got to be worrying about that.
Well, it brings up a 3rd and about 8 situation for the Arrows. That play put them in the hole a little bit. This time they've got a slot and a wing. Massey's the wingman in motion to the top of your screen. They're looking for him out in the flat. Murphy plays it well, but they throw it incomplete. It was dropped by Brian Moore.
Here again, that's just what we were talking about, John. He's worrying about getting hit rather than concentrating on the ball.
I think you're exactly right, and it cost the Arrows a first down there. It looks like they're going to punt and try and get it deep into the Generals' territory. We're down to 9:59 here in the first half. This game has just moved along very quickly. Worcester, of course, is up 7-0. Tony Lee going in on a 16-yard run. And Denny Shear getting the extra point. Massey to kick it away. Good snap. And it was almost blocked again by, this time, Cooper. And it's rolling out 11-yard line. Tony, we're going to take a moment here to honor some of the band members. You'll be seeing them at halftime, but these are the band members of the week. And we've got Julie Wims, Andy Llewellyn, Steve Moore, Nancy Taggart, Kim Anderson, Steve Wagner, and Debbie Radabaugh. And our hats are off to these young men and women who practice so hard to share with you that fine halftime entertainment. Right now we've got the Generals breaking the huddle. Matt McCoy's got Brett Birdno, Tony Lee behind him. The give is to Tony Lee off right tackle. Tony, good second effort out to the 15 and maybe more. Tony running hard, got a good 5 yards on that one. 2nd and 5 for the Generals. Mitch Sleek looks a little confused as to whether or not he was to come off. Now here comes John Hayes in with the play. Coach McFarland apparently weighing what he wants to call very carefully down in the shadow of his own goal line. John Murphy way to the top of your screen, and John Hayes to the bottom. The give is a keeper, McCoy, and he is caught in the backfield. I bought it, but the Arrows defense didn't.
Done by John Ward. Dean Reynolds.
Dean Reynolds in on the stop for the Arrows, and it'll bring up 3rd and about 7. The loss is 2 on the play. That has been one of the bread and butter plays for the Generals this year because so many teams have keyed on Tony Lee.
They have, but right now Ashland's defensive line is really playing heads-up ball, John.
3rd down, big play. McCoy, it's a draw play. Tony Lee, he is out about the 17. There's a flag, however.
We've got a holding penalty against. I believe it's going to be a holding penalty. It is illegal use of the hands.
You know, Tony, I have to go back and correct something I said earlier. That was not a Tony Lee run for the touchdown, was it? He caught the screen pass from Matt McCoy. Of course, he caught it in the backfield, and he did run 16 yards, but of course it's labeled a touchdown pass rather than a run. You can see they're talking over the options on this penalty with number 52. That's Scott Mowry. Scott undoubtedly the defensive captain, and it will be an interesting decision what Coach Quackenbush of the Arrows wants to do here. Tony Lee did not come up with the yardage necessary for the first down, so it would be 4th down. But perhaps he wants to drive the Generals deeper back in their own territory.
John, I don't know. You've been giving them another chance at it. I don't think they will. They did.
Illegal use of hands against the Generals.
I think that's smart football.
The penalty is refused, and so Matt Smith will get another chance to kick it away. Massey, and this is number 15. That's Dennis Bryan standing out right around midfield. The Arrows did put some pressure on Mr. Smith last time, Matt Smith. This time, more pressure. It's another high, short kick. And it is going to be dead on about the 33, 34 yard line.
On that exchange of punts, Ashland gained 7 yards, John.
Crowd, of course, upset, but no one's more upset than Matt Smith. He'd love to boom a 50 or 60 yarder. So Worcester's defense, the nasty defense, will be called upon here with 7:55 to get that ball back on for the offense. Again, our score is 7-0. John Hevlin, Tony Catanzarite. Shoemaker going to keep it now. Pitches to Massey on the outside, and he's dragged down from behind.
Good pursuit by Matt Smith.
Matthew, one of the outside linebackers, along with Brad Warner, as Tony indicated, came from behind. Massey never saw him and yanked him down. Murphy was doing a nice job of containing on the corner. He forced Massey to cut that, turn it inside. Second and a long 7 for the Arrows. They've got I-backs behind Shoemaker. He drops back to pass, looking downfield, throws, incomplete. Murphy on the coverage.
Pass broken up by John Murphy.
Tony, I'm surprised that a team would pick on John Murphy. He to me is a solid defensive back.
Well, he certainly is. Perhaps maybe their idea is, well, if we're going to go with their best. If we can beat them, we can beat anybody.
Okay. It does bring up an interesting situation. 3rd and 8. You might say, though, the Arrows are in 4-down territory, so they've got 2 downs to pick up 8. Shoemaker looking downfield. He's got time. He's got a nice pass. It's knocked away. Could have possibly been intercepted by Mitch Sleek.
John Shoemaker's pass intended for Brian Moore.
But Mitch decided to knock it away. John Murphy talking with him. I think John might be saying, hey, Mitch, maybe you should have grabbed that one.
Well, maybe he did. Again, though, it's a lot easier up here, but when they're out there in the heat of the battle, they see those arms going up. They're trying to get the ball out of there. And unless they think they're going to have a clean shot, they would probably just try to down it.
Clock is stopped with 7:04 on that incompletion, and it brings up a 4th down, a critical situation. And Ashland is showing punt.
I would not be surprised if I would see something else done.
Yeah, the Generals are not buying it. They're sending, it is snapped to the short man.
Yeah.
It's the fullback Gordon, and he's short. Nice defense by the Generals. They weren't buying it, and correctly so. Doug Glasgow with help out there gets the fullback Gordon.
In there by John Hayes and Matt Smith.
We are going to take a break with our score. Wooster 7, Ashland nothing. 6:59 left on the clock before the half.
Mott's Decorating. They're serious about quality, and you should be too. At Mott's Decorating, they want happy and satisfied customers, and that's why they're serious about quality. There are no gimmicks, no giveaways, just honest savings every day of the year at Mott's Decorating. 4188 Cleveland Road, Wooster. Phone 345-6018 for paint, carpet, wall covering, ceramic, vinyls, and more. One-stop decorating at Mott's Decorating on Cleveland Road, Wooster. After the big game or for your next party or get-together, stop by Dino's Drive-Thru to pick up your favorite potato chips, candy bars, or other snacks. Dino's Drive-Thru has a large selection of everything you need to make your next party a big hit. With 2 convenient locations at the foot of Bell Avenue and on Lincoln Way east of Wooster, it's Dino's Drive-Thru. Make sure you put Dino's on your next party list.
First and 10 for the Generals. As the Arrows turn it over, they couldn't come up with a first down. This time it's Tony Lee looking to the outside. He cuts back. He pulls away from a jersey, and Tony Lee's off to the races. He cuts back with help. Nice cut by Tony. Inside the 20. What a run by Tony Lee, and some good blocking downfield by John Hayes and Doug Glasgow. What a run by Tony Lee, the junior tailback, who last week had 240 yards. Super run.
53-yard camper by Tony Lee.
The field announcer indicating just about 53 yards. First and 10 for the Generals. Inside the 20, call at the 18-yard line. I-backs behind McCoy. Tony Lee is in motion, so is John Murphy. I don't think you can do that. No, you can't.
It's illegal procedure.
Yes. Tony Lee broke early. He knew it. It's just one of those things. I think Tony's adrenaline might still have been pumping from that long run, Tony.
He certainly tried to use his blockers, John. I'll tell you, personally, I think that Tony has improved 100% in his running and following his blocking since the start of the season.
Well, this is his first year. He's only a junior. I say first year of varsity experience. Of course, Wong Win was the dominant fullback or tailback last year, close to 1,600 yards. So Tony played JV ball and occasionally got in maybe the 3rd and 4th quarter. But he is a young man who's matured. That will cost the Generals 5, moves it back out to the 22. but Wooster will get the down again, first down. So 1st and 15 for the Generals. This time it is Tony Lee. No, it's Matt McCoy. He throws it downfield. Incomplete. John Murphy had fallen down. It was a nice play. McCoy was feeling some heat, though, from number 73 on the defense. And that is John Ward. Let us remind you again very quickly that tomorrow, that Saturday the 18th, the Wooster versus Walsh soccer game has been moved from 11 to 1 p.m. Couple-hour difference there. And that, of course, affects you all watching the game on Friday night. 2nd and 15 for the Generals. McCoy, it's given to Tony Lee. Nothing doing. Might have gotten a yard. I'm very impressed with these Ashland Arrows defensively tonight. They're a team that gave up, 28 points last week to New Philly, Tony? I think it was 34-28.
John Ward also there.
Clock is down to 5:45 remaining here in the first half, and Worcester's got a 3rd and 15 situation. Of course, they are in 4-down territory. John Hayes, number 44, in with the play for the Generals.
3rd down, 15 to go.
John Hayes goes to the top of your screen. John Murphy to the bottom of your screen. McCoy having trouble. Throws it away. Almost intercepted. Incomplete. Probably a pass Matt should not have thrown. Almost intercepted. Number 56, which is Dean Reynolds, almost had that for an interception. 4th
right
down.
Now, Ashland's defensive line is really controlling Worcester's offensive line,
The
John.
winning ticket is 196869.
The clock, of course, is stopped on that interception with 5:17 remaining here in the first half. Andy Seifert, a late addition to the lineup here. Denny Shear is going to kick from the 30-yard line. Now there is a timeout being called. Wooster. No, the field announcer says delay a game, but I think the General's called timeout. I think he's in error. I think Wooster recognized they might be called. No? They didn't get it off, Tony? No, excuse me, By Morris. You were right. It is delay a game. And that means now that the Generals are taken out of field goal range if they weren't already. That would have been a 40-yard field goal attempt, Tony? Possibly more.
Well, we're going to go for it, though, John.
Well, I thought they were bringing on the punting unit. Tony's right. It's Matt McCoy and the Wooster offense with a 4th and 20. Tony Lee's looking for a fullback. Worcester's got 10 men on the field. There is a screen pass. It's intercepted, and it's fumbled. Ashland's got it. No, Worcester's got it.
Got it back.
They're going to give it to Wooster.
And we get another 4 downs, John. You talk about the fickle finger of faith here.
Oh, my goodness. Wooster is got the football. There was some discussion between one of the officials and the head referee, but Wooster comes up with a ball with 5:08 remaining here in the first half. We'll break and be right back.
From up here.
Look at this choice strip steak dinner, or this great tasting chicken dinner. These and many more delicious dinners are available from Degler's Restaurant on Lincoln Way east of Wooster. In this commercial, we decided to show you how good the food actually looks, not use still photos of dinners like some places. At Degler's Restaurant, these are just a few of the great dinners and sandwiches waiting for you. Stop by Degler's Restaurant in the Wayne Lanes Plaza. Attention, Wayne County. If you're searching for a top-quality furniture priced right, search no further than Ettinger's Furniture in the Heck Shopping Plaza. From recliners to living room sets, furniture for the bedroom or the dining room, Ettinger's Furniture has a large selection to choose from. And with financing available, owning new furniture from Ettinger's is oh so easy. This is top quality, well-built furniture that will look great in any home. Stop by Ettinger's Furniture in the Heck Shopping Plaza on Lincoln Way East, Wooster.
See, that's what happens when you get...
Fumble for the Generals.
Okay, 1st and 10 for Wooster as the result of that crazy situation. Inside the 30 inside the 40, 39, McCoy throwing downfield for Murphy, who wasn't even looking. I don't know what happened there. Some miscommunication. So it'll bring up a 2nd and 10, and Worcester's offense that last week scored 31 points is just looking a little bit out of sync here. Of course, that could be partially because the Ashland Narrows are playing very good defense, Tony.
Very good.
At any rate, it is a 2nd and 10 situation. The clock stopped at 4:42 on that incompletion. Now we've got Birdno and Lee behind McCoy. The pitch to the short side of the field. Tony Lee down to the 35. 5-yard pickup.
5-yard line. Tackled by Dean Reynolds.
Again, let us mention that Mike Pegram is not at left tackle. He is unable to go because of a thigh bruise. I'm sure he just feels awful. But Andy Seifert is playing. Andy's playing offensively, and Rich Withrow has gone to Andy's defensive tackle.
3rd down, 7, the ball on the 35-yard line.
I think I said Tony got 5. Let's call it 4 and call it a 3rd and 6 situation. McCoy drops back to pass. He's going to be nailed. No, he stays on his feet, but now he's down. The loss is back to the original line of scrimmage. Nobody blocked number 21. That was that's Mark Rankin. And this time, it looks like Worcester's going to punt it. So Wooster unable to capitalize after an odd situation where we had a fumble by the Generals, picked up by the Arrows, recovered by the Generals. Looks like the Arrows are going to come after this punt. Good punt by Matt Smith. Takes a Wooster roll, maybe too good. It's into the end zone, so it'll come back out to the 20. With 3:15 left here in the first half, Wooster leading 7-0. The Arrows get the ball back. Let us mention to you a couple of important things. First of all, tomorrow, Tony and I will be up at the College of Wooster to cover the game between the Fighting Scots and Denison University, the Big Red of Denison. Also, our best wishes go out tonight to Triway as they take on Manchester, and Smithville as they take on Chippewa. 1st and 10 for the Arrows. The give is to Massey, and he got very little up the middle. Looks like Glasgow and Totten, the 2 inside linebackers, making that stop for the Generals. Give Massey a yard and call it 2nd and 9. And here comes Doug Snyder in as an extra defensive back. Doug Totten comes out. 2:49 on the clock. Second and 9. I-backs behind Shoemaker, John Shoemaker, junior quarterback. And he gives it on a trap block.
Joe
Again to Massey, and Massey didn't get much, maybe 2 or 3. Tony, it looks like the Worcester defense has adjusted to the offense of the Arrows.
They have, and it's unusual, too, as how rapidly they did adjust, putting Rich Withrow in there in place of Seifert, which Withrow has played, but he really hasn't played consistently, or not consistently, but all the time, regularly. And then Seifert is more or less adjusted to the offensive line.
Well, they had to, as Mike Pegram has been injured.
And this is what we talked about at the beginning of the program, where we said that the depth of Worcester will probably prevail in the end.
Shoemaker gives it to Massey. Looks like he wants to throw it downfield. Warner, Warner tried to get the quarterback. They get it crossfield. It's number 41 who got the first down on that catch. Brad Schlechte, number 41.
On the tackle for the Generals.
Worcester may have pursued just a little bit too hard, although I think that was improvising by the Arrows.
That was, John. And but in a way, though, that's if it would have gone all the way, it would have been great. But right now, what you're doing, you're eating up the clock.
Yes, the clock is running. We're down to a minute and 40. And, of course, Worcester is going to be guarding against the big play. We've got a single back. We've got Massey in motion. Gordon is the only back. Shoemaker rolling to the top of your screen. He throws it to number 85, who is brought down almost immediately. That is Tim Swaysgood.
This will bring up a second down here.
John Murphy on the stop for the Generals.
About the 2nd and 2. They picked up 8 on that.
Pick up of 8, second down 2.
But again, the clock is continuing to run.
42-yard line.
It will be under a minute before they get the play off, and Doug Snyder comes in as an extra defensive back. Matt Totten is out. The ball is resting on the 42-yard line of the Arrows. They've still got the 57 yards to go for a touchdown. Massey in motion to the top of your screen. Shoemaker rolling that way. Finnegan's after him. The pass, oh, what a
Beautiful catch.
Mitch Leake was right there, but number 83 with the catch is Brian Moore. First down over to the Generals 44-yard line. And now it looks like the Ashland Arrows want to take time out. Andy Seifert has come in defensively for the Generals.
The Worcester soccer team will play tomorrow. They will play the Walsh varsity at home at 1 p.m. Note the time change from 11 a.m. to
This,
1 p.m.
John, reminds me of the 77 game played over at Ashland, where Worcester had a pretty commanding lead, just about ready for the second half, and I think it was about a minute left to go, or even less. I think Ashland took the ball all the way down and made a tight ball game.
At Maurer Field.
Tony, let us remind the fans who are watching this on Friday night that tomorrow, Saturday the 18th, there has been a rescheduling of the soccer game. That's Wooster versus Walsh from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So please make that note. It's a 2-hour time change. We don't want you to stay out there in the cold. And let us mention also that over the weekend you can always see how your favorite team did in action, the football action that is, by checking the CATV9 weekend scoreboard. Scores are shown every 15 minutes over the weekend on cable channel 9. Okay, it is a 1st and 10 on the 44-yard line for the Arrows. 44 seconds on the clock. Shoemaker rolling to the bottom of your screen. Finicum was after him, throws downfield. Let's see if that's incomplete. Hayes was on his back. Wooster says they intercepted it. The officials aren't having it. Murphy was on the bottom. I could almost believe that Murphy could have intercepted that. John has got a good pair of hands.
Second down 10, 38 seconds remaining.
Can't recall whether we mentioned, I'm getting really kind of excited whether Andy Seifert is back in, but he is in defensively. And now he comes out because they brought in Doug Snyder, another defensive back. Clock is stopped with 38 seconds on that incompletion. I-backs behind Shoemaker this time. Shoemaker back to pass. Cooper hit him as he let it go. It's almost intercepted by Hayes. And Cooper made Shoemaker pay the price that time, Tony.
He did, and I'll tell you, the referee was right on him, watching him, and when he let go of the ball and Cooper put his arms around him, and if he didn't get him down, he just let him go. And I think that was a very good move.
Third down now and 8, but more importantly, the clock is stopped with 32 seconds. Worcester's nasty defense. A defense wears towels around their waist with a skull and crossbone and the word nasty on it. We'd like to thank the Mothers Club who have supplied us with a blue and gold button which also says nasty. There's Shoemaker dropping back to pass. He is being chased. Cooper really nailed him as he let fly. Incomplete. And John Shoemaker's not going to get up. That was Finicum and Cooper. They both met Shoemaker. Now he's getting up. He's staggered a little bit, Tony. He really took a shot. He was like a pretzel getting hit from two sides.
And here again, not to sound repetitious, John, you're going to keep getting pounded by that Worcester defense. It's going to show up here in the last half of the game.
Well, the clock is stopped with 26 seconds, and the Ashland Arrows want some time out. And I think probably one of the reasons is to clear the cobwebs out of the head of number 17, the junior quarterback for the Arrows. We want to remind you that next week we will be traveling back over to Triway High School to cover the action Triway versus Coventry. And you can catch that next Friday night, the 24th of October at 11 p.m. right here on Channel TV 9. Also, let us remind you that John Finn, who is the Sports Information Director at the College of Wooster, fills you in on the College of Wooster athletics on Scott Sports Capsule. That's Thursday evenings at 6:55 on CATV 9. Thursday nights is a big night on cable TV 9 for sports. 26 ticks of the clock before the halftime. I'm sure you're going to stay tuned at half to watch the fine Wooster band. Also see on the far side that the Arrows have brought their band, and I'm sure we'll be covering both. Fourth down play. Let's see what it is. Massey's in motion. Shoemaker throws it over to Massey. He's got 10 yards to go, and depends where he went out of bounds. He may have gotten it, Tony.
He may have gotten his first down.
It all depends on the spots. Where did he go out of bounds?
No, they got him short.
Wow, that was very close. We could not tell. So with 18 ticks of the clock, the Wooster offensive unit comes onto the field. The defense has been tested tonight. Worcester's had some bad field position, but the defense has done the job. And the offense has put 7 points up. 7-0, Wooster on top with 18 seconds. We'll have to see whether Matt McCoy might just sit on it. McCoy drops down to one knee. That will end the first quarter, I'm sure, unless the Arrows have a timeout that they want to spend. No, the clock continuing to run. Two, 1, 0.
In passing.
Wow.
They completed 4 out of 13 and had 1 intercepted. Worcester had 1 out of 5 completions and 1 interception. Fumbles, Worcester did not fumble. Ashland had 1 fumble and lost 1 fumble. In the rushing stats, Worcester rushed 19 times for 79 yards. And strangely enough, Tony Lee had 78 net yards. Now, Burtno had yardage, but
couple of losses there.
A couple of losses there, and the losses where McCoy got sacked back there, and those did away with. That's why we have 78 yards for Tony Lee and only a net 79 yards rushing. The other penalty, penalties, Worcester had 3 penalties for 15 yards, while Ashland has yet to be penalized.
Okay, well, it was a very fast first half. There were a couple penalties and a couple incompleted passes, but the first half, just to me, sailed through very, very quickly tonight.
It certainly did, and if we didn't have that rush of passes that were incomplete at the end of the half there by Ashland, it would have probably gone even faster than it did.
Tony, the captains have just met at the center of the field, as perhaps is already assumed by many people. Worcester will receive to begin the second half. They will receive at the south end of the field. That is the left end on your television screen. As you can see, the Generals are already out warming up. I have a feeling that perhaps they're already a little bit warm. I can't help but think that Coach McFarland's words might have been a little bit heated during halftime tonight.
I wouldn't doubt it. You know, one thing about it, you could say the coach was out-coached out on the field or anything like that. But I don't believe that's true, especially when you're getting at a high school level. But you've got a bunch of young men, and the one thing about young men is you never really know how they're going to react to a situation. Heck, we see it in pro ball. You see high, heavily favored teams go down the drain. And this is the same thing. A coach gets you out there. He tries to prepare you. He tries to get you up, and he tries to teach you what you have to do. But when the time comes, you have to go out there and you have to execute it. He can't do it for you.
Well, that's exactly correct. The Ashland Arrows have gone over to the far side of the field. They are getting ready for the second half. Generals taking a little bit more time, down at the south end of the field. Again, if perhaps you missed the first half of action, Wooster did go in, score. Denny Shear kicked the extra point. That is our score at half, 7-0. That score was a 16-yard screen pass play from Matt McCoy to Tony Lee, and on that particular touchdown, Tony showed a lot of desire. He broke 2 or 3 tackles.
Oh, well, here again, too, you can have all the stats you want, but the only stat that counts at the end of the ball game is that one that's up on the scoreboard that says that you had more points than the other team.
Exactly. There have been a lot of teams that have put 300, maybe even 400 yards of offense, but they haven't had it where it counts. Let us remind you again before we start the second half that the soccer game to be played tomorrow, that's Saturday the 18th of October, has been rescheduled from 11 to 1 p.m. So please take note. I'm sure that's up at McConnell Field up on Oldman Road. It is rescheduled from 11 to 1 p.m. tomorrow. That's Wooster Soccer against Walsh. We do not have any additional scores. We thought we might have a Triway Manchester halftime score or maybe even a Smithville Chippewa, but we do not have those to pass along. If perhaps in the third or fourth quarter we get those over the PA, we'll try and pass them along to you. But our best wishes are with those two other schools that are in our viewing area, the Titans of Triway and the Smithies of Smithville. One involved in All Ohio League action, the other in Wayne County Athletic Conference action. Back deep for the Generals to receive, number 90, Mitch Sleek, number 11, John Murphy.
And well, you've also got John Hay, number 44. Over
Excuse
on the
me, yes, John escaped me at the top of the screen. Wooster is in a 3 deep. Looks like the arrows are going to kick from the top hash mark, and it might just go to John Hayes. The whistle, there's the kick. It's a line drive kick taken by Mark Newcomer, number 30, and he gets back to close to the 40-yard line, so Wooster will get good field position.
Good field position.
That's something that Wooster really did not enjoy too much of in the first half tonight, Tony. Here comes junior cornerback Matt McCoy onto the field. He wears number 15. And number 90, Mitch Sleep, goes to the top of your screen. John Murphy is on a wing. A little bit different formation than we've seen. There's Tony Lee trying to sweep to the outside. Gets up close to the 45.
And he's got 5 yards.
Number 73 on the bottom of the pile is John Ward for the Arrows. John, one of the defensive linemen for the Arrows. But Wooster picks up a good 4 yards. Call it second and a short 6. Let's see if perhaps the Generals try and use John Murphy off that what you call either a wing or a slot. I guess it's called a slot. I-backs, but Murphy is in the slot. The ball is fumbled. McCoy picks it up, trying to make a little good out of a bad situation. Got about a yard. Good poise by the junior quarterback there.
Tackle made by Scott Mowry.
It is still Brian Finicum at center. In some games this year, Brian has gone out at center because he is going both ways and has been replaced by number 55, Eric Houston. But tonight, that snap and subsequent fumble was between McCoy and Finicum. It brings up a third and short 5 for the Generals. The ball is resting at the 45-yard line. McCoy throws out, overthrew Matt Sleek, and Mitch Sleek, and he had him open. If he could have waited just a half a second longer, he might have had the completion. Mitch was definitely open up across midfield. Brings up a kicking situation. Back deep for the Arrows, we've got Massey and also number, I think that's 15, which would be Dennis Bryan. Oh, nice kick by Matt Smith. He got a dandy. Massey takes it on the fly, tries to reverse field, and he is nailed. Number 88, doing a nice job, is Mike Hughes. Mike didn't go for Massey's fake. So Wooster pins the Arrows within the 20, call it the 16-yard line. Matt Smith making up for some shanks that he got in the first half with a beauty there. We've got Withrow and McLean at the tackles, Cooper and Finicum at the ends, Glasgow and Totten on the inside, Warner and Smith on the outside. There's Massey in motion to the top of your screen. The give is to the fullback. That is Gordon, Mike Gordon. Wow, he would not go down.
Right across the 30-yard line.
Gets out to about the 32. It's good for the first down.
On the tackle for the General.
Number 44, Mike Gordon, running hard there.
First and 10, Ashland.
He took him out of a hole very quickly from about the 16
line.
out to the 31. Worcester's nasty defense needs to get fired up here. They did a nice job in the first half. To the top of your screen is number 85, Tim Swaysgood. Man in motion to the slot, number 32. The give is to Massey. Warner brings him down.
The ball carrier gets to the 35-yard line. Run down by Brad Warner.
Todd Reinhardt was number 32 in motion for the Arrows. That pickup is a good 4 yards. Call it 2nd and 6.
Second down, 7.
Clock already down to 8:45 here in the third quarter. This ball game has moved along very quickly tonight. Unbalanced line to the right. They've got the slot to the right side. Eye backs. They give it to Gordon again this time. Nice second effort, but he's not going anyplace. I can see 21, Brad Warner, 60, Glasgow. Somebody else on the bottom of the pile there for the Generals.
Mike Gordon, the ball carrier.
Looks like 25 Totten, Matt Totten. And here comes Matt out on a third down situation. 53 is Andy Seifert in. Wooster may go, Tony, is that a 5-man front? Looks like it. Yes, it is a 5-man front for the Generals. Withrow, Seifert, Cooper, Finicum, and McLean. Man in motion is Massey. Shoemaker throws it inside. I don't believe he caught it. It was intended for number 32, Todd Reinhardt. Reinhardt almost made a nice catch on that.
It was a little low.
He was open. And it brings up a 4th and 6 situation, and the Arrows are looking to kick it away. Remember, they did fake it early in the game, but the Generals were ready. Down by a touchdown. I can't believe they will, though, in this situation. Massey gets it off. End over end kick. Murphy's after it. Murphy had it roll between his legs inside the 15, and he falls on it on about the 12. John didn't know how close the defense was, and he wanted to take care of first things first.
That was a good move, John. As you mentioned before, he had the ball. He wanted to make sure he was going to keep the ball.
Okay, with 7:42 remaining here in the third quarter, and our score, Wooster 7-0. We'll break and be right back.
Hi, I'm Tom Lyons, Performance Pontiac Olds GMC Trucks, 1363 Lincoln Way West.
I'm having trouble from my vantage point checking it out, but I think it's about the 5. Yeah. And now the officials talking over something. They are changing the markers and moving the markers back up to the, well, where are they going to put them?
Apparently the foul was done was a dead ball foul, John. It was after the ball was down. So they will have to...
Well, okay. But they're
although I
marking
believe
the ball
the down marker should be back at the 5. So they've got 1st and 15.
Yes, yes. And now they're calling time while they get that corrected as well. It should be a 1st and 15. The penalty apparently did occur after the fact, after the ball was dead. Let's see, to get a first down, Wooster has to get out to the 21-yard line. Let's put it that way. The ball resting on the 5. So it's a 1st and 15, 16 yards. And Tony Lee gets the call up the middle. Not much there.
Tony Lee, the ball carrier.
Let's give him 2 and call it 2nd and still about 13 yards to go.
That John Ward, number 73, was in on that, and he looks to be just about the strongest man on that front line.
John is a 6-foot, 200-pound senior. Here comes Mitch Sleek, number 90, in with the play. Wooster is up 7-0. But right now, they'd sure like to get that ball out of the shadow of their own end zone. McCoy takes it, gives it to, no, McCoy still got it. He throws a pass out there, incomplete. It was thrown behind Matt Smith. And that was a pretty gutsy call by the Generals.
Well, McCoy was, Matt Smith was open. McCoy just didn't get the ball to him in the right place. That's all.
Of course, the clock stops on that incompletion with 6:38 remaining here in the third quarter of action. Wooster is on top. Here comes John Hayes in with the play. Let us remind you that tomorrow we will be at the College of Wooster to watch the Fighting Scots take on the Denison Big Red. 3rd down and 13 for the Generals. McCoy back to pass, looking downfield. It's for John Hayes. It's intercepted. It's intercepted at about the 37, 38-yard line. Hayes was there, but also so was the defensive halfback. So Wooster will be back on the defensive. Call it the 37-yard line, and with our score, Wooster 7, Ashland nothing, with 6:31 remaining in the quarter. We'll break and be right back.
As you're watching the great sports action,
First and 10 for the Arrows. They've got Massey on the wing. Massey gets it right up the middle. Matt Smith's got him with, oh no, Matt Smith lost him. And he plunged ahead forward until Rich Withrow, number 63, finally brought him down. Good pickup of about 6, call it 2nd and 4. Good second effort by Joe Massey, number 31. He is their senior tailback, 5'10", 180. Worcester's offense, which shone late in the game over at Malabar last week, has not been very effective. The defense for the Generals has been on the field quite a bit tonight. There's Shoemaker. He's hit in the backfield, and he is really fumbled.
And I believe Worcester's got it.
And Wooster does. Brad Warner, 21, was one of the Generals that caused that fumble. Let's see who's on top of it. Brian Finicum. Doug Glasgow was also in on that tackle. They do give credit to Brad Warner for, at least the field announcer does, for causing the fumble.
One more, your pizza.
So,
Warner came through that opening in there and had his arms wrapped around the quarterback, Joe and Shoemaker, caused that fumble.
5:15 remaining here in the third quarter. Let's see if this can bring Worcester's offense to life. McCoy to Tony Lee. No, McCoy looking to pass. Throws it for Murphy down the field. John's got it, and he's down on the 30. Beautiful catch. John had to wait on the ball, and he made a nice adjustment. And that was a big play for the Generals, but there is a flag.
Ineligible receiver downfield against the Generals.
Oh, Wooster really is hurt by that one. That was a big play. Tony, it's kind of an odd way to get into this, but we're hearing so many boos. We would have to mention that in spite of this brisk weather tonight, we have a great crowd on both sides. Ashland brought a lot of fans with them. They are filling the stands on the far side, and of course the Wooster stands are filled as well. Good crowd for this Cardinal Conference football game. And that was a real heartbreaker for the Generals. Ineligible receiver downfield.
Loss of down.
Yes, as the field announcer indicates to you, it is not only a penalty, a 5-yard penalty, but also a loss of down. So it brings up a 2nd and 15. Ball is inside the 30-yard line. Call it to 29. John Hayes comes to the bottom of your screen. Murphy is in the slot to the bottom as well. They give it to Murphy on the inside handoff, and he fumbled the ball. And it's recovered by Ashland.
Recovered by Tom Rooney. Fumble on the handoff. Recovered by Tom
So that
Rooney
ball
versus
is recovered by the Arrows on the 34. We have an exchange of fumbles.
And it doesn't seem as if either team wants the ball right now, John.
4:53 remaining here. Excuse me, 4:57 in the third quarter. 7-0, Worcester on top. Ashland Arrows, let's see if they can capture the momentum, having picked up that fumble. Massey in motion to the top of your screen. And they give it to the fullback, that's Gordon. He didn't get much. He is ridden down there.
And that was that same play where the fullback, Mike Gordon, ripped off about 14 yards previous set of downs, John.
Yeah, number 78, Mike McLean, read that one all the way, and Mike used his 200-plus pounds to ride him down. Mike is listed as 6 feet 240. This juncture in the season, he may have lost 5. There was a gain of less than a yard. Call it 2nd and 10 for the Arrows. There's Massey in motion again. This time Shoemaker looks to pass over the middle. There's a flag. There was a catch. No, excuse me, it was incomplete, but there's several flags down.
I believe
the intended receiver was 32, Todd Reinhardt. Tony, you say it's on the Arrows? Well, it'll be an interesting decision for the Generals. It'll either be 2nd and 15 or 3rd and 10 on that incompletion.
Now it looks like it's against the Generals. Nope.
Well, maybe offsetting penalties. Personal foul against the Generals and motion against the Arrows. Do they become offsetting? Let's wait and see. The officials aren't even sure because they're conferring, as you can see.
No, it has to. I don't believe that rule has been changed here in high school football.
The officials going over to talk with Coach Quackenbush on the Ashland side, and now someone coming to talk with Coach McFarland as well. It is offsetting, so it would be a 2nd and 10 again. Official also, as you can see, trying to explain it to the Wooster defense. Ashland out of the huddle. Massey comes to the bottom of your screen as a wide receiver. Hayes will have him man-to-man. Let's see if they go to him with a pass. Yes, they're looking for him, and he takes that. Hayes misses the tackle, and he's inside the 15-yard line. That's the first time Massey's lined up there, and they went to him very quickly. It's at the 14-yard line. So Ashland mounting a threat here with 3:45 remaining in the 3rd quarter. This is their deepest penetration into general territory tonight. You can hear perhaps the crowd chanting defense. There's the pitch to Massey on the outside. He cuts back. He's got running room. He's going towards the goal line, and I think he's in.
Touchdown.
He is. Massey goes in. Touchdown Arrows. With 3:24 remaining here in the 3rd quarter of action, we've got a 7-6 ball game, and it'll make for an interesting call by Quackenbush to see if he goes for 2. It looks like Joe Massey is going to kick this extra point, which would tie the ball game if he is successful. Snap is a little high. They get it down. I don't think so. No. 7-6. The extra point is no good. It just didn't have the height, did it, Tony? It was a line drive
off to the
kick.
left.
And off to the left as well.
Of your program for the 3rd quarter Wooster Booster Club drawing.
With the holiday season fast approaching, now's a great time to plan your holiday get-together or your next business meeting in the banquet room at BC's Family Steakhouse on Cleveland Road between Worcester and Madisonburg. With their large menu to choose from, BC's can cater to any appetite. And make sure you try BC's new soup and salad bar. They've got daily luncheon and dinner specials, a relaxing atmosphere, and friendly service. Those are all good reasons to try BC's Family Steakhouse on Cleveland Road in Worcester. So Worcester will be trying to get the offense untracked here as they receive the kick. 3:24 left here in the 3rd quarter of action, 7-6. It's a real dogfight, and I guess this is what we expected. Ashland, although they are 4-3, are certainly no pushover tonight. Let's see if they kick it away from the deep man. It's another line drive kick, this time picked up by Mitch Sleek. on the 15. Mitch coming up the middle. He turning on the Jets, but he's going to be caught up at the 46-yard line.
Fine kick return.
Mitch getting up a little slowly. I hope he's not hurt. No, he's okay. Wooster gets good field position. Mitch Sleek doing a nice job after that ball had rolled into about the 15-yard line. Let us remind you that you can find out how your area team did in football action on the weekend scoreboard. Every 15 minutes over the weekend, scores will be shown of all the area high school and college games. Full house backfield for the Generals. And that was Tony Lee.
Tony Lee, the ball carrier.
Wooster pulling out all stops. Trying something a little bit different, perhaps to shake up the Ashland Arrows defense, Tony?
Well, you might as well try something else, John.
Clock is down to 2:30 remaining here in the third quarter. Let's see if Wooster stays with that full house. There's Mitch Sleek going to the top of your screen. Yes, they are. Wooster full house backfield. Usually only seen when they're down on the goal line. Tony Lee again, the ball carrier.
Tony Lee up the middle.
It's going to bring up a 3rd and 3 or 4. We might mention again that the Generals tonight are playing without the services of Mike Pegram. Mike could not go. He dressed for the game. He warmed up, but apparently couldn't go. He's got a thigh bruise. And so Andy Seifert has been in tonight at left tackle. 3rd and 4 for the Generals. The Generals are across midfield into Arrows territory. McCoy on a keeper gets a yard. Wooster very conservative on that series, Tony. And it looks like they're going to kick it away, going to try and put the Arrows deep in their own territory. Worcester did have good field position, but they just elected to play it very tight to the vest, did not pick up a first down, and with a 4th and 3 situation, they've got Matt Smith to kick it away. Now, Matt is a tight end. He has a pretty good speed, but Worcester not going to fool. Matt gets off a fine kick. It is taken by Massey. Massey coming up the sidelines, good faking, a good run back by Joe Massey up close to the 30-yard line. It was Dan Edwards who finally brought down Massey for the Generals. Worcester only netted about 15 to 17 yards on that kick, Tony. Massey brought it back about 15. Here comes
They've got
John
just
Shoemaker.
about 20 yards on that, John. That was about it with the return.
Shoemaker, number 17, junior quarterback for the Arrows. They've got behind him Mike Gordon, 44 and 31, Joe Massey, and they've gone back to the I formation. They're unbalanced to the right, and they pitch it to Massey, trying to go to the outside. Nothing doing. The Generals are there. Nice defensive effort out there. That's John Murphy, number 11. John playing off several blockers to sneak through to get that tackle. When all is said and done, the pickup is 2. Call it 2nd and 8. We're down to 3 seconds. That will have been the last play of the third quarter. So after 3 quarters of play, our score is Wooster 7 and Ashland 6.
At the end of the
John Hevlin each Thursday evening at 6 p.m. on CATV 9.
At Masa's Family Restaurant here in Worcester.
Let us remind you one more time that the Worcester soccer game scheduled for tomorrow, the 18th of October, has been rescheduled from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's the Worcester General Soccer against Walsh. So please note that the 2-hour change from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Ball resting on the 32-yard line, 2nd down and 8 for the Arrows. The Worcester's nasty defense has really been called upon tonight. Looking for a pass, Shoemaker has it knocked away. Steve Cooper.
Knocked down by Steve Cooper.
Good defense by the senior defensive end. Steve is in his 2nd year for the Generals at that position. Took over last year and did a fine job. with a 3rd down and 8. It looks like the Generals bring in another defensive back. Doug Snyder comes in. Matt Totten, number 25, comes out. Wooster anticipating pass. Just into the 4th quarter of action here at Maurer Field. John Hevlin, Tony Catanzarite bring you all the play-by-play action. We've got I backfield behind Shoemaker. He does drop straight back to pass. Looking down the field, it's a screen, and Brad Warner smelled that one out. What a fine job. Oh, my.
And I noticed, John, that Massey was not in that series.
The loss on that play was about 6, and it brings up a 4th and 10 situation. The Generals should get the ball back, unless the Arrows might possibly try and fake it.
John Hayes, John Murphy deep for the Generals.
Massey will be doing the kicking for the Arrows. Gets it away. And it is down at about the 48, so Wooster ought to start with good field possession. Arrows trying to claim that perhaps, oh, no, Ralph.
Oh.
The Arrows claimed that one of the Generals touched the ball. Coach McFarland a little upset at that. I didn't see any Generals touch the ball. I don't think it did. You can hear the Wooster fans. They're very upset. Well, this is one time where I wish we had instant replay. It came close, but I don't think so. No General went after the ball like it had been.
Came close to a blocker, John, but I could not see it touching anybody.
Well, they give it back to the Arrows at the 47-yard line. This is a real break for Ashland. 10:50 on the clock. Reinhardt in motion. There's Shoemaker to the outside. Looking, Rohrner made a nice recover, but couldn't make the tackle. Totten finally got him, but he got about 5 yards. Warner upset with himself, but he made a fine effort.
John Hayes also there.
Todd Reinhardt was the man in motion to the top of your screen. It was the quarterback, Shoemaker, though, who carried the ball. The ball is on the 48-yard line of the Generals. The Arrows cross midfield.
Ball in Wooster territory.
I'm sure some of the fans are still talking about that call by the officials. 2nd down and 6. Motion this time is Massey to the bottom of your screen. They give it to the fullback. Nothing doing.
Mike Gordon, the ball carrier.
Gordon, 44, brought down right at the line of scrimmage. It was Cooper, 57, and also Glasgow, 60, in on the stop. He might have even lost a yard on that.
I believe he did, John.
Clock continuing to run on that running play. 9:38 left in the ball game. Wooster on top by a single point, 7-6. Nobody said it was going to be easy.
Well, we said that all along, but
3rd down, big play. Massey's in motion. Wooster defense rotates. Looking, there's a flag. Incomplete.
John Shoemaker's pass goes
and
incomplete.
Was a flag early. Illegal motion, illegal procedure on the offense.
That should bring up a 4th and 6.
Well, it's a chess game. Do you take the penalty, or do you figure that the Arrows will punt? We'll have to wait and see what the Generals decide here. They're explaining the options to one of the senior co-captains. That's John Murphy. It looks like the Generals are figuring that the Arrows will punt.
Against Ashland, refused by the Generals, brings up
Tony, if I were the Generals, I would be very leery about another fake.
Yes, definitely. We're getting to that point now. We've got 9 minutes left in the game.
Joe Massey in punt formation at his own 36-yard
Wooster
line.
is not now. It looks like Sleek and Murphy are going to drop back. Massey, wow, he got a good foot into this one. Murphy takes it, and they are going to say he was down at about the 21-yard line. One of his knees hit the ground.
John Murphy takes Joe Massey's punt at the 20-yard line.
And, of course, that is the most important thing, and that is to field it cleanly. With 9:10 left in the 4th quarter and our score 7-6 in favor of Wooster, we'll break and be right back. Very sharp offensively here tonight. Let's see if they can get a drive going. There's a pitch to Tony Lee. He was caught in the backfield. Almost looked like an inadvertent face mask, but there is no call. Tony Lee, I think we mentioned, did have 78 yards in the first half, but he's not had many here second half tonight. That play actually lost the Generals 2 yards. Call it 2nd and 12.
But John, what we need right now is a good sustained march.
Yes, to eat
control
up the
that ball.
High backfield behind junior quarterback Matt McCoy. There's Brett Birdno. Birdno did not get much up the middle.
To the 20-yard line.
Ashland has done a very nice job tonight stopping up the middle.
Scott Lowry on the tackle.
We're under 8 minutes left in the ball game, but it is a 3rd and 10 situation for Wooster. Let's see if Coach McFarland decides to put it up in the air. McCoy with Birdno and Lee behind him. Murphy to the bottom of your screen. The handoff, no. McCoy's got it, finally throws it, incomplete, almost intercepted. It was intended for Matt Smith. And a very dangerous pass in the fact that it was almost intercepted. So Wooster has had very few first downs here in the second half, Tony.
I don't believe they've got one. They had one, it was called back, was on the pass.
Matt Smith will be kicking from inside his 10-yard line, almost back at the 5. So the Arrows should get good field position. Good snap. Matt takes his time, gets away a boomer. It is taken by Massey, who fumbled the ball. Wooster, I don't know who's got it. I don't know who's got it.
I believe they've got it, John.
Okay, they signal Ashland has it. Massey may have recovered his own fumble. For a second, it was anybody's ball. It's just shy of the 45-yard line. With 7:21 remaining here in the fourth quarter, our score 7-6. We'll break and be right back.
Look at this.
The nasty defense for the Generals will be tested again. 7 minutes remaining here in the ball game. The pitch is to Massey on the outside. Massey for good yardage. He cuts back. It was a nice cutback, and it looks like he's going to score. There's nobody going to get him. Ashland has taken the lead, and the fans on the far side of the field are going wild. With 6:51 remaining, Ashland takes the lead as Massey goes about 56 yards for the score.
Arrows lead 12-7.
Massey went wide to the right, then cut back over the middle. And again, the fans on the Ashland side are going jubilant. The extra point try yet to come. Let's see if they go for 1 or 2. This is an important decision by Quackenbush, Coach Quackenbush. I think they will probably go for 2, but now they're calling for timeout. We're going to break while we have this timeout on the field, and we'll be right back. With 6:51 left on the clock, Wooster is down 12-7 with the extra point try yet to come. I can't believe that the Arrows will do anything but go for the 2 points. The nasty defense has been on the field a lot as the offense has really never gotten on track tonight. And finally, Ashland, which we talked about being a big play team, got the big play there. A 56-yard run by Joe Massey. Ashland 4-3 on the season, but they're 2-0 in the conference.
Ashland will go for 2 points.
They're going for 2 points. There's the pass. Incomplete. So our score is 12-7. Wooster needs to go down and put it in the end zone, though. While the teams are getting ready for the kickoff, let us remind you that the holiday season is fast approaching, and now's a great time to plan your holiday get-together or your next business meeting in the banquet room at BC's Family Steakhouse on Cleveland Road. That's between Wooster and Madisonburg. With their large menu to choose from, BC's can cater to any appetite. And make sure you try BC's new soup and salad bar. They've got daily luncheon and dinner specials, relaxing atmosphere, and friendly service. Those are all good reasons to try BC's Family Steakhouse on Cleveland Road in Wooster. Well, Tony, Wooster finds himself in a spot that they have not been in late in a game, and that is trailing.
They were in the spot last week for a very brief time, but that was in the third quarter, and then they came back in the fourth quarter and just roared on through. But now we'll wait and see.
We are waiting for Joe Massey to kick off. He has kicked most of them line drive. They've been taken by some of the up men rather than going to Murphy, Hayes, and Sleek deep. Let's see what he does this time. 6:51 left on the clock. There's a line drive boot up the middle. Taken by one of the up men. I think it's Sleek. Up to close to the 35-yard line.
Returns the kickoff to the 35-yard line.
And now let's see if that Wooster offense can respond to the challenge. The offense of the Arrows has put the points on the board. Let's see if Wooster's offense can do the same. Here comes junior Matt McCoy into the ball game. There's our score, 12-7, 6:45 on the clock. Murphy is on in the slot. And now Matt McCoy wants timeout. Apparently he did not like the way
timeout, General.
The offensive set was. Coach McFarland coming out to talk with his offense. While we have this break in the action, let us remind you again that